How are you doing today?
Good morning, Max. I'm doing very good. Thank you for asking.
That's good. That's
but
good.
who has a problem today? I believe it's you, right? You have a story to tell.
I do. And, sometimes in therapy, you're working through hard issues, and sometimes you're just kind of sharing victories or things that go right. And today is more about, I don't know, a good story is the wrong term, but from a service standpoint, something that was very positive.
Okay, positive is good.
Very recent, literally yesterday morning,
Okay.
I woke up, and as I was very early into my first cup of coffee, I got a text. And distressingly, it was from my credit card company saying there had been charges to some company I'd never heard of and asking me if these were my charges. And I was like, God, this doesn't look right. And I said it to my wife, and she said, careful, that could be a scam. Make sure you call somebody or go online or something. Absolutely agreed. Interestingly, though, right above that was an earlier text from my credit card company. So I knew right away, I knew this was legit because they use the same number to do their texting on these things. I went online, and the second I logged in, before I could get to anything else, there on the screen was, we see these charges. Are they real? And, I've been doing a lot of shopping online, and at first I was worried, well, maybe, I bought something from this company, but this underlying company was who I actually bought from. But it was a $1 charge and two $100 charges to some company that made no sense whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, this is clearly, and it was that day, not over the weekend when I did all this charging. So I'm like, no, this is not real. So check, 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 boom. Now, the bad news was at that point, they said, your card is canceled. And at first I was like,
it's risky.
It's right. It's, okay. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I'll buy that. And filled in a little form with 3 or 4 things, updated a little information. At the end of that, got a confirmation saying your card will be there in 3 days. It's kind of funny. They gave me a choice. I could get it in 3 days or I could get it in 7 days. Either way, it was free. I was like, oh, I'll take the slow route. Why not? But so, your card is on its way. And then the next day, I got a text confirming that the card is coming, be on the lookout for it. And that's it. Never had to talk to an agent. No question that this was fraudulent. Didn't have to notice it and go tell them that this was a problem. It's going to be a pain for the next several weeks because I don't even know all the subscription services that use that credit card. So I just over and over, it's going to be, oh, right, I charged that on that. There'll be a round of cleaning all of that up. But, and I get it. Of all the financial risk they have, this is one of the biggest. So it's smart that they are so well covered here. But
it's more than smart. It's actually fantastic. I have had in the past to battle with my bank. That was many years ago, so I was not even in France at the time. I lived in Hong Kong. And I had to battle with a credit card company. It was my bank, actually, because I had charges from some websites I never used. I had no idea how they collected my credit card information. But I had to bring up proofs of something that did not happen. So go ahead and try to prove something that does not exist.
Easy.
That was very difficult. And back then, they would not do it online, obviously, but that was like 10-ish years ago, so it probably makes sense. But they would not even do it over the phone. I had to go in person and talk to so many people who would not listen to it. That was terrible. So first, they were proactive, which is fantastic.
Yes.
They were proactive. They came to you. I have no idea how they noticed that there was a problem. But they were right.
I actually thought about that a little bit. What I understand as a telltale sign is when there's a really dinky charge and then bigger charges. That, the dinky charge is proving that they've got the connection, and then they do the bigger ones to get the actual money. So I think that was the reason that got flagged. It was a very obvious pattern.
But I mean, pretty great customer experience. That's self-service, which is fantastic for them because of instead of you calling 15 times to try to cancel the charge, they did not even need to manage a single call coming from you, which is saving a lot of money from their side. On top, it's all about customer satisfaction because you're pretty happy with the experience. I mean, you're not happy that someone stole your card somehow, but that's probably not their responsibility.
The nightmare is what you described. I get a bunch of charges and now somehow I've got to convince somebody I didn't do them. This was the opposite. It's like before I had a clue what was going on, they're telling me and canceling it and protecting me from anything else. What more could I ask for?
Well, you're lucky because for me, it's exactly the other way around. Usually when I spend money, I got my bank blocking every transaction saying, this looks sketchy. This guy probably didn't spend that money. We blocked the card. I'm trying to buy something. Let me buy stuff. But I'd rather they go that way instead of the other way around. And
I actually have a story along those lines. A friend of mine worked in Singapore, and his like 20th anniversary, some big anniversary was coming up. And he was going to Singapore and he was going to buy some jewelry. And it was the only credit card he could do it on was a joint card. So he called the bank and he said, I'm making this transaction. I'm making it in Singapore. I don't want you to question it because if you question it, you're going to question it to my wife. And there went my wonderful anniversary surprise. Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Checked here. Absolutely. The minute he bought it, his wife got a notice saying, have you done this? So easier said than done.
Inconsistent customer experience. The person you talk to is not the person managing the system,
right.
and it's not seamless in any way. Now, the only thing in your story that I think could be better is it would be fantastic if your bank, after canceling your card, could come up with a list of all the vendors that looked like they're charging your card every single month so that you could get back to them. And there is something now in France when you change, what is it? I think is when you change bank. We have the IBAN, right? The SWIFT code for Europe.
Right.
If you change bank, then automatically the old bank needs to provide the new bank with all your information that all your vendors can be, when there is automatic transaction, not on a credit card, but like auto transfer, then so they could automatically switch to the new banks that you don't need to do anything. And I find it, I don't know if it works, I've never tried it. At least on the paper, it's fantastic customer experience. Now, I'd be surprised if it was as smooth as it sounds, but at least from a customer experience logic, this is perfect. We should make it as easy as possible. Because at the end of the day, the bank only wants you to spend money, right? So they should make it easy for you to spend money.
Exactly.
Well, Max, thank you so much for sharing a positive note. That was much needed. I don't know if you actually needed a couch for that, but you made me feel better. So I think it's a win.
Like I said, sometimes it goes both ways. Thanks, Julien. I felt good, but I feel even better now.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Max. And I talk to you next week.
Sounds great.
Bye.